All right, next up is South Carolina, represented tonight by head coach Don Staley, student athletes Alicia Gray and Bianca Cuevas Moore. Coach, please make an opening statement.
It was great getting back out on the court, after being off for a few weeks. I thought our players really locked into the game plan and executed on both sides of the ball.
Open up for questions just for the student athletes first. You got Ben over here on the left.
Really, for both of you, just what are you kind of feeling going through that first quarter where it seemed like they were kind of hanging in, and what did you feel sort of changing at the start of the second?
Well, I believe like every team comes out like playing hype against us, like they're up to play us. But once we get in the flow of the game, like we take control of the game, then it's pretty much our game.
And Jeffrey in the middle.
Alicia, you had set a career best for rebounds. I think almost all your points were in the paint. Was that designed to be that way? Were you, or did you just take advantage of what Asheville gave you today?
Yeah, I just took advantage. I was down there, so why not rebound? I mean, we've been working on rebounding all week, so yeah. I mean, I just did what I was supposed to do.
Other questions for student athletes? Ben.
Bianca, is that the most wide open breakaway layups that you've had this season?
Yeah, I'll say yes, it was.
And she made them all.
Gene.
I made my layups.
Go ahead, Gene.
Bianca, you had, I think you guys had 3 steals in a row, and you had 2 in a row there in that spurt. What can you say about the way that kind of ignited you and got you guys going?
Coach McCray in the time, I was like, Bianca, I need you to get 3 steals in a row right here. So I said, all right, I got you. Gave her a little nub, came out there, was pressuring that ball, and just got that ball scored.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Got one in the back, right behind you there.
Both of you guys, can y'all talk a little bit about the pressure? You guys ramped it up there in the second quarter. After the first quarter, it was kind of a back and forth game. When you went to the bench and Coach talked to you guys about the pressure situation, you guys went on a 13-2 run and pretty much put this one to bed. What was talked about in the huddle between the end of the first and the start of the second about pressing and kind of putting this thing over with?
Basically, Coach made the adjustment, and then she told us to trap out the screens. So let's do what Coach was told, and we've been practicing that too. So I'm glad to see we was able to execute it on the court.
Ben.
Just what was it like, and how different was it not having Elena there with you on the bench?
I mean, right now, we just have to come together as a team. Obviously, missing Leia is a big part, but she's focusing on her future right now, rehabbing to get that ankle back right, and we just gotta come together as a team and continue playing with each other.
Anything else for the student athletes? Seeing none, you guys can leave. Reminder, the locker room is open, South Carolina. We'll open up for questions for Coach Staley. Take Ben right here.
Coach, do you go in saying at the start of the second quarter we're going to really turn up that pressure, or is that a little bit more in response to the game situation?
It's probably more in response to the game situation. I just thought that we needed to change how we were playing, ball screens in particular, and also just the pace of it. We need to create some offense from our defense, and the best way you do that is to speed the game up and press a little bit. We had a little bit of a smaller lineup in, so we were able to, get out and play fast, and it worked for us today.
Go to the back.
Don, do you like because you've had to play without Elena through the SEC tournament and now this first round, do you kind of like, do you like the makeup of this team now in terms of going with that 4-guard lineup and having to play a little differently without Elena in the center?
I mean, it's become a situation where you gotta like it because that's who you are as a basketball team now. We can go a little bigger by inserting Kiki into the lineup. So, but she's athletic like a guard and quick like a guard, and we can do some things with her facing the basket. I do like it. It gives us options out there to play a little bit quicker than we normally play. It gives us an opportunity to, from a defensive standpoint, to fly around a little bit, junk the defense up, and not be so, relying on our half-court defense, which we did a lot when we had our two bigs.
Way in the back.
Coach, kind of just going off of that, is this kind of, you're testing different lineups out because, God forbid you guys keep going on, you get down to a situation where Wilson might follow out and you don't have Coates now. Is it trying to fool around with that a little bit just to be prepared?
No, it is what will give us the best edge at the start of the game. I just thought today, just going with a little bit more experience, and Bianca gave us an opportunity to get out and play a little bit quicker. And also, you got to be strategic too. You got two post players. You want to make sure that we balance out. Making sure they stay out of foul trouble. So it all depends on who the opponents are, and how we're feeling, and how we're practicing, and where we can create our edge.
Jeffrey.
Dawn, did you get more than you expected out of that lineup that you sent out to start the second quarter? That they were able to pull the game apart, basically? I mean, or was that kind of what you expected?
Well, I just think over a 40-minute period, with our team and our opponent, I felt good about the direction we were going in. But since we did have the smaller lineup in, I wanted to play a little bit fast and force the tempo to see if we can get up and down and create some offense from our defense. And it worked. We're all going to have, that's a luxury for us to be able to change up our defense and play a different way. We're at a place where teams will have to scout us differently. They have to prep for us a little bit differently than they have not having Elena in the lineup.
And Elena not being on the bench, was that her decision or your decision?
Her not being on the bench is, our medical staff. They want her to just, continue to rehab and not jump around and further injure herself.
Gino.
Don, how do you go about adjusting your strategy, like today, the 1-3-1, and various other things? Do you meet with your assistants? You take deep dives into analytics? I mean, how do you do that?
I'm more of a feeler. The game, I see what's happening out there. I see where we can make an impact because we haven't really worked, our 1-3-1 defense. I just felt like it was time for us to kind of push the tempo, trap a little bit out there, see if we can cough them up and get some easy baskets. But you can't stay in it too long. And it was just a call, a feel for the game.
Ben.
What was it like not having Elena's presence and personality on the bench for the first time in, I assume, a while? And also, do you know where she watched the game from?
Yeah, she's home at the moment. It's having Leigh is pretty animated. She's pretty energized on the bench. A lot of us are, in substituting her not being here. I thought our bench is pretty energetic, and they are, kind of using her absence as a place in which they could fill the void of her energy. So I thought, they did a really good job in her absence.
Right here in front.
Don, excuse me, going into this second game tonight, how do you feel you match up against either of these teams?
I think both teams are very physical. Both teams can rebound the ball extremely well. Both teams are, decent. Arizona State is probably a little bit better defensively, especially scout defense. So I think, for us, we have to make them play at our pace. I think pace is really important with whoever we play. We have to get up and down the floor. We can't rely on our half-court offense, for 90% of the game, nor can we rely on our half-court defense for 90% of the game. Because, these teams are really good, and they'll pick you apart if you stay in one thing too long. So we have to be strategic in creating tempo, but controlling tempo as well.
Back of the room.
Coach, when you look at your lineup playing 4 guards tonight, will that be a good situation for you going into Sunday's matchup against 2 teams that clearly are a lot bigger than Asheville brought to the table? Because you can just look at the 2 on the floor, and it was just kind of an uneven match today, but obviously Sunday will be a different story.
Well, we're in a position where we're going to have to play the small lineup at some point. How long? I don't know. If it's working, then we're going to stick with it. If not, we'll go to a traditional 2-post lineup. But, they have to play us too. It's not just a one-sided thing. They're going to have to make adjustments to our style of play. And, again, if it's strategic, I think I like the way that we're able to play a lot of different defenses. And I like the way we're able to play, from an offensive standpoint, getting the ball in the paint, and driving it, creating offense from our defense, and pushing tempo.
Greg.
Coach, you've mentioned consistently throughout the season that it's a young team, and it's a team that you'd want to see how they embrace these stages. It's a lot of their first experience in an NCAA tournament. How did you feel they performed to your standard?
They performed well. I think they've been prepping extremely well, just paying attention to detail. I think a lot has to do with, us as a coaching staff, just maintaining. We're not too high with the highs or too low with the lows. We are approaching it like we've approached the regular season and the SEC tournament. And if we're, even keel, they're going to be that way, and they're going to take a business-like approach to the games.
Last question, we'll go in the back.
Coach, not to get away from the game too much, but with the announcement today with Asia Wilson being up for the Naismith, one of the finalists, I know your opinion. I know you said it last week at the SEC tournament, but just for hearing that today, that she's up for it.
No, they're right in having her as one of the best in the country. Let's see if they'll get it right at the end.
And with that, we'll wrap it up. Appreciate it, Coach. See you tomorrow.